This is, I believe this is the whole reason that I'm having so much trouble with anybody even looking at my research, is because biochemistry of belief. This is the National Institutes for Health. This is not just some guy with an opinion. And this is a fact. And this is usually I don't take too much facts from the way they present stuff from the government, but this is totally real. And I know this because I've studied this and I've seen the reactions for years now to my research, which can't be denied. Can't be denied. I have DNA, 3 DNA tests. I have 7 CAT scans. The chemistry's been recreated in the lab. It's been authenticated by a world famous anatomist. There's nothing that isn't right. The chemistry, I recreated the process. It creates feldspar in the lab. There's no question whatsoever. I have multiple specimens. And I pointed this out over and over and over. But I realize now that it's not just the fact that people haven't seen it. They can't accept it. They just can't accept it. And this is a fact, I can tell you, that's no question, because nobody even in my family will look at this. And I'm going to tell you a story about a big shot PhD professor, runs a big university, and she's a psychologist on top of that, and has a MD, not an MD, RN. She was an RN at one time. But anyway, she's a professor now. And she's a psychologist. And I told her, and she understands this is true now because I have the chemistry. She's seen all this stuff. She's trapped when I get a hold of her. She can't get away, but she tries. Now, so I had her cornered. I said, look, this is reality. Now you know it's reality. She said, so what? I said, well, it means that it has a lot of ramifications. I said, and if you can't accept it and you're teaching the kids things that aren't true, then you're literally, that's delusional. I have facts. You people don't have any facts. She says, we're not deluded. You're the one that's deluded. I said, whoa, whoa, whoa. How do you come up with that? She says, you're so far out of the mainstream that you're just deluded. I said, wait a minute. I said, I've presented you with the facts that are facts. Not just I'm guessing, I'm saying this and this and that, which is the stuff you're doing. And you're saying that your opinion overrides my facts, which is the clinical definition of delusion. And immediately what happens is, I don't want to talk about it, I'm not talking to you about this anymore. You corner an academic and they will just attack aggressively, nasty. And she says, I want an expert, you just don't know what you're doing. Blah, blah. Anyway, here's what this is the reason, and this is the reason it happens, is that, our beliefs become our reality. And yet she's a psychologist, and she's just deluded. And actually, Professor Briggs down at Yale has been deluded for years. I've been presenting him with this over and over and over and over, and he keeps saying, no, just rocks, just rocks. Well, that's delusional, because I have the true evidence. And then, and as a matter of fact, not too long, a few months back, he authored a paper that says that he discovered, his group there discovered soft body fossilization, which I've been presenting this for 5 years. He's deluded, and it's not right. And the kids have been suffered from this for years. So anyway, and that because of his beliefs, not because of reality. And I think that's a fiduciary failure, which might have other ramifications, but that's all right. Here's what it says: beliefs are not just cold mental premises. They're hot stuff, intertwined with emotions, consciousness and unconscious. Perhaps that's why we feel threatened or react with sometimes uncalled for aggression, which happens to me multiple times a day for many years. And I've just withdrawn from society because people roll their eyes at me. I won't be shut up. I can't be shut up. So why should I even be around people that are just, they laugh at me? So that's the way it works. When we believe our beliefs are being challenged, research findings have repeatedly pointed out that the emotional brain is no longer confined to the classical locales of the hippocampus, amygdala, and hypothalamus. The sensory inputs received from the environment undergo a filtering process. And it goes on and on. You want to read this? It's just, and they finally got something right. I'm telling you, it's just unbelievable. And I have evidence. This is no question. The evidence I have, it's DNA, it's CAT scans, it's specimens of giant human beings. And this is so hard for any of these people to accept. I have, and Yale disavowed this early and has kept that same I'm not going to talk about it, and it's wrong, and they won't let me bring it down. They won't look at it. They won't discuss it, and that's just not right. So anyway, that's the way it works. That's about all I got to say. If you go to Mudfossils University, I've started my own school so that people can get a little more reality out of this, because you see, academia will throw each other under the bus if they go out and start to talk about this, and aliens and comets are biological, and there's giants that were walking on the earth. And really the bottom line is they sort of don't like God. And, you know, they just don't believe in Jesus or God or any of that stuff, or any religion. And they feel that it was all bumping up, little dust bumped together after all they exploded from absolutely nothing. I can't believe that one. It's just insane. So look at what I have to present, and this is reality, and then sooner or later get accepted, and then, you know, you don't really have to go to any of these schools. They're just silly. They're absolutely silly. You're learning somebody's opinion from an old book they're just reading to you. And it's not a good thing. Not a good thing. All right, this is reality. This 3 DNA tests in here. Now, this was sent off from Helix Biolab, who did the extraction of the DNA, and it was taken from deep inside of the specimens. This was no puppy job here. This was done textbook and deeply inside. All of this stuff was authenticated by Eaton Biolabs, did the DNA sequencing, and everything came back as a positive result. And these are all the primers they use to do the extractions, and then the DNA sequencing. This is very sophisticated stuff. Homo sapien mitochondrial cytochrome B gene and Homo sapien mitochondrial D loop region. 100 base pairs in each region. That's dense. That's dense, and that's because these are mud fossils. These never dried out. So anyway, this is a fact. Fact number 1. All right, we had CAT scans done by Jesse Garant and Associates up in Canada and Michigan. They do the best of work of anybody on the planet. Their equipment scans racing engines and industrial equipment for imperfections and 3D and colored, and they did this in the interest of science, and they deeply appreciate it. And this was all authenticated by Gil Headley, who is a world-renowned trainer of people, autopsies. He goes around the world and trains people. Extremely gifted. And there was a multiple CAT scans. You see this? Look at that. That's where the fingernail bed was. And you can see the apical tufts. You can see the bones. But anyways, that's number 2 fact. Fact number 3, there were giants in the earth. And if you can't tell that's a giant in the earth, there was a lot of these types of body parts. As I said, a lot of types of body parts. And, you know, these were attention getters, yep, but they were real. All right, there's literally every body part. I'm just throwing these out so you can see. But there's faces, there's every kind of body part, as you see. And this was the response I got from a deluded professor.